Hello, beautiful people. My name is Ashley, and I just want to thank you for tuning in today on today's episode. Today, we're doing a question and answer vlog. I said I was going to do this. I asked you guys to send in any questions or anything you had about Nye. You wanted to ask us about our relationship, about parenting somebody with a disability, all that type of stuff. All the questions that people have been burning to ask but are like afraid to. We're going to answer the questions that people submitted today. But to start off, where I am right now, I'm in CHOP. It's like midnight, so I'm here by myself in the cafeteria / like dining lunchroom area, because this is the only place where nobody would be, and I wouldn't look like a weirdo talking to my phone when I'm not FaceTiming. So I'm in the cafeteria. Me and I are still in CHOP. We haven't been discharged yet, so let's get right to it. Question number 1: How old is Nye? Nye will be 2 years old in October, so that makes her 22 months. She grew really fast, and it's really depressing because I miss my baby being little. Question number 2 is one that probably everybody's been asking, because I don't think I actually officially said it in any of these videos that I've been posting, but what is going on with Nye medically? Like, what exactly is going on? Why does she keep ending up in the hospital type of thing? Like I was saying, what is going on with Nye medically? Why does she keep ending up in the hospital? That type of thing. So, Nye was born with a genetic abnormality. It's called supernumerary ring chromosome 1. And basically what it is a mutation that happened in her genes while she was developing in my belly, that causes a bunch of other medical things to happen. So that's what's going on with her, that she has this genetic thing and it just causes other things to happen. And I'll go a little bit into detail a little later in the video about that. Surprisingly, question number 3 would be, what is it and is her genetic abnormality hereditary? So supernumerary ring chromosome 1 is a genetic abnormality that happens spontaneously. It's just a mutation. It just happened out of nowhere. She didn't get it from me. She didn't get it from Tyrell, her father. It wasn't passed down as like a recessive gene or nothing like that. It's just during her creation, one of her genes like split off and mutated into a shape of a ring, hence why the name ring is in the name. And it happened on her first chromosome. The first chromosome has like the most information about us, basically. And it's with this genetic abnormality, I did not know that she had a genetic abnormality when I was pregnant with her. I had really, really bad prenatal care, so my doctor didn't really check for any genetic abnormalities or anything like that. She didn't even have me on what's that called when you are high risk. She did not have me on high risk when I was pregnant, even though I had 2 miscarriages previously. So, and because I was hospitalized most of my pregnancy, well, a lot of the times, not most of the times, but a lot during my pregnancy because of some pains that I was having, some like cramping and some bleeding and stuff like that. Like the doctors at the hospital were telling me that I was gonna have a miscarriage and everything, but my doctor was like, no, she's fine, just give her some fluids and send her home. So we did not know that she was born with it until 4 or 5 months after she was born. When she was born at 36 weeks and 6 days, so she was just shy of being full-term, just by 1 day. So basically, when she was born early. She didn't score too well on the APGAR test, which is a test they do for all newborns and make sure that they're hitting levels to be on track for developmental stuff. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. It's like midnight. But so she didn't do too well on that, and then she was also having trouble breathing and keeping her saturations, her oxygen saturations, which is her intake, like the percentage of oxygen she's taking in, high. Usually it's anywhere between like 98 and 100 for like normal breathing, and hers were dropping to like below the 90s into the 80s, and that concerned them a little bit. So they had her on oxygen when she was born. She actually stayed in the hospital in the NICU at that, for a month. And the reason she stayed is because she was having trouble like breathing and eating at the same time. So they wanted to like get her to master that. And she didn't master it right away. She actually went home because we were like bugging the doctors about what exactly were they doing, because Las Vegas isn't the best place to have your sick child, because they struggle. They're kind of behind the times when it comes to medical stuff, especially when it comes to East Coast versus West Coast, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah. Long story short, after a month of being in the hospital, she was released home, but she was released on oxygen, a sleep apnea machine, a pulse oximeter, which is a machine that you like wrap around her toe, and it tells you how much oxygen she's taking in, and her heart rate and everything like that. And basically, we couldn't go anywhere for like the first 3 to 6 months of her life. Like we couldn't like travel or like go see family, or it was basically like we had like luggage with us because she had all these machines with her when we were traveling. So yeah, we only could really go to like the doctor's appointments and stuff like that. Other than that, we had to like tag team going to like the grocery store, and like if we had to go to work or whatever. So I didn't actually go to work for the first year that she was born. So yeah. All right. So question number 4 is, where do we live now? So Anaya and I moved to Pennsylvania to get to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Unfortunately, Tyrell, her father, had to stay in Las Vegas to tie up some of our loose ends that we had going on over there, so that we didn't come over with more debt on top of all of her medical bills and everything that we had. So eventually he'll be over here soon, a little less than a year. He should be over here, but thank God we will be seeing him soon for hopefully before her birthday, but if not, then we'll definitely see him for her birthday. He'll fly out here so that we can see him and she can see him, and so that she can be familiar with his face again, because I don't want her to start like losing her memory that quick, because it is she's getting older and it's been like 3 or 4 months since she's seen him. So I just want to make sure that connection is tight still, because they are best friends. Okay, so question number 5 is, was I aware of what was going on with her when I was pregnant? I think I kind of answered this question already. No, my doctor didn't tell me what was going on. She didn't care to check all of her things, that like genetic things, when it came to my prenatal care. So no, I was not aware until like 4 or 5 months later when I was born, and we noticed that she had like microcephaly and then other like respiratory issues and things like that. And so we took her to a neurologist to make sure that her brain development and everything was okay, because she was also cognitively and developmentally delayed when it comes to like hitting milestones and stuff. And her microcephaly, which basically means that she had a small head circumference, that can sometimes lead to her brain not developing or growing to what it needs to be. It can cause brain bleeds and stuff like that. So we just talked to a neurologist to make sure she was okay, and she would notice that she had a couple of markers that kind of set off in her mind, like maybe we should get her tested for some genetic things. And then so literally it was the neurologist who sent us to genetic testing. Ain't that crazy? It should have been my doctor, or at least her pediatrician, but no, 4 or 5 months later it was the neurologist. Number 6 is, do we want to have more kids? And we meaning me and Tyrell. Eventually we do. We just want to make sure that Nye and I, we want to make sure that Nye is basically taken care of at a stable point where she is doing good, she's growing. We don't have so many things that come with her when it comes to like therapies, and she's in and out of the hospital and that type of thing. So we want to make sure we're at a chill point where we'll be able to actually enjoy our family time without being interrupted with anything that comes in the hospital or stuff like that. So and also, I want to get married before I have another baby. I don't know if y'all heard, but I'm trying to be somebody's wife. Okay, but no, on a serious note, I do want to get married before I do want to have another child. So probably I want to say the next 5 years. If I don't if we don't get married or have a kid in the next 5 years, and then we probably won't have a kid after that. But I would like to have a little boy. And so would he. He wants a little Tyrell Jr., a little TJ, I guess. And I guess this answers question number 7. Are me and her father married? Nope. 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 See this ring that I always wear? This is feet. This is Nye's feet. And on the inside, it has Nye's name and her birthday. I am not married. Me and Tyrell are not married, but we plan on it. We already decided we were going to be together forever. We're just, every time we get to that point where we get to that moment where we think we like, let's do this, something comes up with Nye. So we just want to be able to enjoy the engagement in the moment of being engaged and the happiness with that without it being interrupted or overshadowed with anything that, or us losing, not even overshadowed, just us not being able to focus on it because we have to focus on Nye and her health concerns. So it's in the works, it's in the plans, for us anyway. As long as God had it in his plan, then it's gonna happen. But I would like it to happen. Alright, so question number 8 is, what is Nye's developmental level? So, Nye is 22 months old, so she's almost 2, and she cannot sit up unassisted. She cannot crawl, she cannot walk, she cannot speak. She cannot eat solid foods yet because she has the trach and everything. We're still working on that. But she is in therapies for all of these things. She's in occupational therapy, she's in physical therapy, she's in speech therapy. All these things we've been trying to keep her in to try to bring up her developmental level. So right now she's kind of at the point of I want to say like a 4 or 5 month old when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, we're working on it. Okay, so question number 9 is, what bugs you the most about what people do or say about Nye when they first meet her? So I wasn't able to get her father to answer these questions with video because he's camera shy. So he decided to text me his answer. So for this answer, I'm going to give my answer and his answer. I'm going to read his answer. So my answer is, I cannot stand when people stare at us like we're crazy. And what I mean by that is, like, they stare at us like, why do you have her outside? She needs to be in a bubble. She needs to be in a hospital. You're a bad mom for bringing her out here. That is the death stare I get when me and Nye are like out and about and doing regular mommy daughter things. She's a regular child. She's an active child. She likes to be outside. She likes water. She likes the rain. She likes to get her face painted. Naya likes things. She's very nosy. She likes to watch animals, and she likes to watch people, and she likes to watch cars, and she likes to ride in cars, and the wind blow in her face. Naya is a little girl. She does things. These things. Normal child things. She just has extra luggage with her. That's what I say all the time. She just has extra luggage with her. Another thing I hate is when people ask me, what's wrong with her? Nothing. What's wrong with you? Like, you people don't know how to approach the situation, and the only way I can do that, I can't get mad at people because they don't know, so I just have to educate them. And sometimes I just get so aggravated and irritated when people ask me that. I'm just like, oh, she just has a genetic thing going on. Or I'll say, oh, she's fine, she'll be okay. Like, that's my short answer, because I get asked this question so much that it's just frustrating. It's like, nothing's wrong with Nye. Nothing's wrong with her. She's a growing little girl, and she's gonna be okay. Like, that's usually my answer when it comes to stuff like that, because you'd be surprised how many times people ask me that. Like, there's no, like, sensitivity to any of the questions that they have when they walk up to us. Well, to us. So, and my third and final thing that I cannot stand when people first meet Nye is they try to tell me about remedies or things that I should do that will make Nye miraculously better. And they're not even in the medical field. Like, I had somebody tell me to rub her big toe and her pinky toe every night, and her respiratory area will heal itself. No, no, it won't. Rubbing on your big toe and your pinky toe is not gonna change your genetics. I I don't know. I didn't study genetics, but that's kind of common sense. Your genetics is made when you're born. They don't change because you rub on a certain area on your body. Um, and I'm not talking about people who are just like, oh, take her to the church and pray for her. I believe in praying for my baby. I pray for my baby's health all the time. All the time. I have a whole church that stands behind, I have two churches that stand behind I, like, to the death. But, and she has millions of people that pray for her and donate it and support her all the time, and we thank you all. But please don't tell me to do something like rub olive oil on my baby's nose every night before she go to bed, because that'll make her better. That's that's not. Please don't give me more advice like that. Please don't give don't give anybody with a child with disabilities rub olive oil on your baby nose before she go to sleep every night. That's just insulting. But if you want to give us some advice, like support, like, I know it's hard being a mother or a parent of a disabled child. If you ever want to talk, give me a call. Or I read this book on like support, and we can go out and we can just vent if you want, or we can go out for some tea and just like some coffee or Starbucks or whatever, and you can talk to me about whatever you want to talk to me about, or you can not talk to me and you can just sit there together, so you can just be in your silence and just be you. That's the stuff that we appreciate, not rub her big toe and her pinky toe. So when I asked Tyrell what bugs him most about what people say or do when they first meet Nye, this was his response. I'm going to read it exactly how he said it to me. What bugs me the most about what people do when they meet Nye is when they touch her face, because how susceptible she is to getting sick. Touching her hair is also another thing that bothers me. As time went on, I learned that it's something I'm going to have to deal with, because not everyone knows her and what she is going through. So that's what he said. But yeah, that goes hand in hand with what I said, with us having to educate people about her, and like, because they'll just come up and start touching her, and even though they see that she has like a trach or she has like a feeding tube and stuff sticking out of her, she has open areas that can get sick. So people, they just see how cute she is and just go right for the hair, right for the face, or which is understandable. Naya's a cute kid, but she does not take too well to germs. So I understand where he comes from with that. That also bugs me sometimes too. So question number 10 was, why are you and her father in two different states? And I kind of already touched on that. We had some business, well, not business. Here's what it really was. We had some things with our lease that the people wouldn't let us break it, and also there was some bills that we had to stay over there to take care of. So instead of us coming over with more debt and a bad rep when it comes to trying to get a house or any type of home in the future, we decided that he was going to stay to finish out those things for us, and then he'd come over whenever his job would allow him, until he's able to move back over here after the lease is up and after all that other stuff is taken care of. So it's a little less than a year now, but when we first moved to Pennsylvania, it was a year before he'd be able to come over here. So it was a little less than that now. So he'll be here soon. We're not worried about it. It's tough. Believe me, it's tough being away from each other. But we're working it out and we're fine. Number 11. Alright, question number 11 is, where is Max and what happened to him? Max is fine. Max is with Daddy in Las Vegas chilling. Now, he misses us very much though, me and I. Because every time I like call him or something, Tyrell on like FaceTime, and I talk to Max, he like pokes his head up when I say turn the camera around so I can see him. So he's still at home with Daddy. So hopefully we'll be able to visit over there to go see him too, because that's my first baby, my little Maximilian. I miss him too. Now misses him. He used to lick her feet all the time, which is disgusting to me. I can't stand that Max likes licking people's feet, but he's my puppy. So Okay, so question number 12 is, how rare is Nye's condition? Pretty good question, actually. So for this one, I had to like go online and Google myself because it is rare, but I wanted to do like some back history of it. So what I found out was it was first talked about in medical journals and things like that in 1995. In 1995, there were 3 reported cases of a supernumerary ring chromosome 1. There can be supernumerary ring chromosome different numbers, but chromosome 1 is the one that we're talking about. Is depending on where the ring is on the chromosome and where the ring is on which chromosome determines what's going to happen when it comes to development and any disabilities or any thing that can happen to the body. I actually was able to find one study that said that 3 out of 10,000 newborn babies has supernumerary ring chromosome 1, and this was in 2005 when it was 3 out of 10,000. I'm pretty sure the numbers have changed a little bit now because they're probably testing for it a little bit more, that they're finding out more information from it. But yeah, so 3 out of 10,000 babies get it or have reporting it. Okay, the last and final question we have is, how much would you say it affects your everyday lifestyle, and how? I guess they're saying it, then returning to Nye's condition. So for me personally, Nye determines how my entire day is going to work. She determines if I'm going to work or not, as in like provide for the family. She determines when I'm going to sleep. She determines when I'm going to eat. She determines everything in the aspect of my life now. Nye is on multiple machines, so she has to constantly be looked after. There was a point for a while before she got sick in January that we were doing really well with the schedule. We had a set schedule when it came to eating, sleeping, naps. You know, everything was set. She was going to daycare, started in January, and that's when she got sick. She got sick in January with a respiratory infection, and her body didn't take too well to it. So basically, her respiratory just kind of swell up, and she couldn't breathe as good as she was before. So we took her to the hospital because she started turning blue and everything. So that was the final time we took her to the hospital. The daycare, she had caught an infection, and so she was constantly getting sick. She would get sick like every other week. There was one point in like February where we took her to the hospital every week to the emergency room because she was throwing up bile, or it may not have been bile, but it was like bright yellow green fluid coming out of her mouth, and she was like pooping at the same time, and she was irritated, and her temperature was a little raised. So we were going back and forth to the hospital, and I had just started my job in October of last year, so it was a brand new job. I was under my 6 months. I told them before I got hired that I had a child that was in and out of the hospital, and that's why I hadn't worked for a year. But I had to go back to work to pay for all of these medical things that Nye had going on, so, and help out her father because he was holding down the fort for like ever. So long story short, I kept having to leave work, miss work, or come in late because Nye was sick. The daycare would call us and be like, she has a fever, she is throwing up, or whatever situation it was. They would call me, and then I'd have to go pick her up, and then my job would be like, okay. They were working with me for a while, but then when she got sick the final time and was in the hospital, they kind of gave me the ultimatum of we're gonna have to write you up or let you go if you keep missing. And then at this time, the final time, Nye was admitted into the hospital, and they were talking about doing trachs and stuff, and I was like, I I can't not be at the hospital with her if they're gonna stick a hole in my child's throat. So I ended up having to resign, but it was on good terms. I actually was a really good worker. I loved the doctor that I worked for. I loved the office. I loved the people, my ex-coworkers that I worked with. But I had to do what I had to do to take care of my daughter. So in that aspect, that's how she controls if I work or not, is if she is sick or well. So yeah, that was for me when it comes to working. Nye also controls when I eat or sleep. I eat when she's awake. I cannot sleep unless she sleeps. And if she's up, I have to be up. Somebody has to be up with her pretty much almost all the time. So in the beginning, I was like not sleeping at all for like days, and I had like dark, like black circle. Like my circles are dark now. They were like black when this first started, because I was like not sleeping at all. I was like, I need to be awake. I can't hear her. There's monitors going off and everything like that. So but now we have like 4 monitors. She was on a ventilator. She's not on that anymore, but we have to be able to hear her or see her face to make sure she's okay. There's no obstruction in her airway. Make sure she's breathing. Make sure she's good, even with one of the machines that actually makes a noise and tells us if she's not breathing or not. So that judges how I sleep, basically. I also asked for Tyrell to send me a response to this question too, because you know he's the father, he's there too, he's hands-on just like I am, and this also affects him. So I asked him to send me a response, and this is what he said. Nye's conditions has changed my entire lifestyle, my thought process, and how I approach things in life. Just learning more about her genetic abnormality and what works for her, what doesn't work for her, her needs, and working on how to communicate with her shifted my entire lifestyle and what my routine consists of on a day-to-day basis. That's also true for me as well. We had to learn how to communicate with Nye because she was having trouble with the developmental delays and stuff like that. She can't tell us that she's hungry. She can't tell us that she's in pain unless she's crying. She can't tell us where it hurts, that type of thing. So we come up with a system or our own type of communication with her or with each other on trying to figure out how we can help Nye. So that's basically how our whole life, for Nye's life, has been as parents for me and Tyrell. Our life revolves around Nye. We have to figure out how we can help her. And I'm glad that we actually moved to CHOP, which is another way that her condition has changed our life. We had to relocate. But yeah, I'm glad we moved to CHOP because they are a lot more thorough and a lot more advanced when it comes to finding out how to help Nye, how to treat different things. They found out things that we didn't know from Las Vegas that they didn't check for, that they checked for here. So every day we're learning something new about Nye. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. Well, that's all the questions I got. So okay, so thank you guys for sending all those questions, and I hope we answered them in a way that you understood. Or if you have any more questions, feel free to post them in the comments below or email them to us right here. That's our email address. So you can I guess more people are up. It's like 1:30 in the morning and people are up running around. It's a children's hospital, so let me see. Yeah, so subscribe, share, so we can spread the awareness about Nye, and we can also, geez, all up in my video. Did you see this? Share, subscribe, so you can send all information about fighting like Nye. Share information about Nye. If you want to share this with somebody who also is a parent of a disabled child or a child with special needs, definitely send it. Let them know they're not alone. That is the point of our vlog, is to give you an inside look of our life as parents in a family that is dealing with something medically. So if this helps you, thank you. I appreciate it. And give it a thumbs up, share it with other people. We love you guys, and we will see you next time. Hopefully we're not in the hospital. We will see you next time. We love you guys. Bye, beautiful people. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you can get all the updates and new episodes. You can also follow us on Instagram at BeautifullyHumanNewmans. There you'll find video clips and pictures that we won't show on the blog. can also follow our stores page at Nye's Creations on Instagram. There you'll find the website where you can find all the candles and notes that you'd like to purchase in support of Nye. Fight like Nye. Thanks, guys. See you next time.